Senator Wambua Kitui. Please be brief.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity to comment on the statement by my brother, my friend, Senator George Kaniri. The Speaker, it is true that there has been a lot of conversation in social media platforms, in local dailies, on the amounts of money that the government has received and expended on the fight against coronavirus. The Speaker, for the record, I want to say, as Senator of Kitui County, I have not seen a single thing done in Kitui County by the national government arising from the monies that have been donated towards this fight. The Speaker, it will be remembered that we debated on the floor of this House the matter of the national executive and county executives taking full control at the exclusion of elected leaders in the fight against coronavirus. The Speaker, I'm beginning to imagine that the whole idea was to hide behind secrets and spend this money in ways that are not proper, in ways, Mr. Speaker, that are not felt on the ground. Mr. Speaker, I would want to urge that the Senate Ad Hoc Committee very, very seriously pushes forward the agenda of accountability on the part of the government and the committee that have been set up to expend this money. The Speaker, there is hue and cry in every corner of this country, the Speaker, on the issue of masks. Things as basic as masks. Masks are not available, Mr. Speaker. There are no tanks for people to wash their hands, Mr. Speaker. And yet people are being told that if you are found without a mask, it amounts to a crime and you could be jailed for it. Mr. Speaker, I urge the committee to really push that agenda and make sure that government is accountable on the spending of this money. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Senator Sakaja, I hope you have been listening to Senator Kaniri. He's made very useful comments, and also Senator Wambua. Only to clarify that social distancing is not social disconnection. Otherwise, we might lose this. We might lose the country. We might lose our nation. Just stay far from one another, but don't disconnect. Senator Murkomen.
Mr. Speaker, I would like to congratulate Senator George Kaniri for he always comes up with very innovative and very timely and topical statements. And Mr. Speaker, this is a very important statement. I also agree with you, Mr. Speaker, that it marries with the work that Senator Sakaja committee is doing. And therefore, we have a responsibility as a House to ensure that we look at the proposals that have been given by the committee to see what are some of the proposals that we can pass as Parliament and ensure that we follow through for implementation by the executive. I have said, and I want to repeat here, that the reason why the drafters of our constitution and the people of Kenya gave themselves constitution that has many institutions was because there was a realization that no arm of government, Mr. Speaker, that can govern on its own, and no one individual can be able to do everything on his own. And Mr. Speaker, at this point in time, it was very timely that we made a deliberate decision to continue meeting as a Parliament. Because, Mr. Speaker, the people of Kenya expect that we be part and parcel of the oversight team. Granted, Mr. Speaker, we've praised our colleague, former colleague, Senator and CS now, Mutahi Kagwe, for the work he's been doing. But, Mr. Speaker, I have seen that the patience is running out from the people of Kenya, that they want something more than update. Mr. Speaker. They want greater accountability. They want something more than update on numbers. They want an update on what is being done to flatten the curve, but also more importantly, Mr. Speaker, to cushion the people who are suffering economically. And I think, Mr. Speaker, it is important for us and the committees that are working here to continue putting the information to the public, making sure that the executive is more accountable. Number two is that, Mr. Speaker, you know, they say the importance of public participation in Article 10 of our Constitution is that you can do as many good things to people. But, Mr. Speaker, if they are not part of that doing, they may never, first of all, feel that you're doing the right thing, or, Mr. Speaker, you may end up just doing the wrong thing because you have no monopoly of knowledge. I urge the executive, Mr. Speaker, to involve the public more on the process. Because when you see the conversation around the 40 billion, Mr. Speaker, which is already spent, and you know, it came from the cabinet secretary himself. You can fault newspapers for reporting this way or the other way. But, Mr. Speaker, in anxiety of the executive to show that they are doing something, again, Mr. Speaker, they shock the country with the kind of figures they communicate without, Mr. Speaker, proper information that is going to the people. So, government should communicate as a whole.
Order, Senator Matangi, why are you taking shortcuts?
Mr. Speaker,
With or without COVID-19, you must observe the standing orders.
thank you, Mr. Speaker. In conclusion, I'd like to say that I urge this, Mr. Speaker, this House, that we must be vigilant on the use of public resources. Emergencies are some of the ways that many government agencies, or it's one of the ways that many government agencies use, Mr. Speaker, as an excuse to float, Mr. Speaker, procurement processes and end up, Mr. Speaker, cutting shortcuts and enriching individuals at the expense of the people. I've said on the chamber of this House that in the past efforts to combat AIDS, Mr. Speaker, has enriched individuals. We do not want this COVID-19, Mr. Speaker, to become a mechanism for, Mr. Speaker, enriching certain individuals. And that accountability must be achieved as a nation. So Parliament must remain vigilant. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.